I was scrolling through Reddit when I saw this graphic. It's pretty interesting, but more specifically, I saw this comment, and that made me think, surely this would be an incredible FIFA career mode save, right? Well, I gave it a go, and I'm telling you right now, you need to try this league. Super Leagues are one of the most underrated types of save in career mode. In the past, I've talked about one with clubs from the North Sea, and of course, there was also the European Super League that thankfully never actually happened. But how about a league that has 20 teams, which are the 20 best teams from outside of the 5 biggest leagues? Almost all of these teams are between 3.5 and 4.5 stars on FIFA, and with the discovery that there are actually hidden coefficients in career mode, you have the chance to develop a league to become the best in the entire world. Not only is it a fun save, but it's a save that I'm confident is also better than just picking the best teams and putting all of them in one country. So let's talk about why this set of clubs is so much better than the 20 best on the game, and such a fun save in career mode. Okay, so the first major reason is the European competitions. Most Super Leagues have Man City, Real Madrid, Arsenal, Bayern Munich and Inter Milan all in the same league, and naturally, that means that some of the biggest clubs in the world are going to miss out on the 3 or 4 Champions League spots that even the biggest leagues have. So you'll end up having your Champions League final being against Brentford or Bochum or someone like Lyon or Marseille. It's just not the same as playing against someone like Bayern Munich. But by ignoring the top 5 leagues, you still get good teams in your Super League, but not ones that are going to disrupt the natural order of football. Sure, some of these clubs do go far in European competitions. Ajax have made it to semi-finals, Sporting and Benfica also made it very far recently, but a couple of the teams in this league not qualifying isn't going to spoil one of the most challenging and fun parts of the game. This alternative Super League also gives you a super fun league stage, but also keeps the ultimate goal of winning the Champions League very, very tough. Another big benefit of ignoring the top 5 leagues is that it doesn't actually impact the other leagues quite as badly. If Celtic and Rangers left Scotland in real life, the revenue would drop off massively and the league would basically collapse. But that's not the case in career mode. If we remove Celtic and Rangers from the Scottish Premiership, within 3 or 4 seasons, Heart and Hibs will have overall ratings about the same level that Celtic and Rangers have. This is just because they'll be getting all of the money that Celtic and Rangers normally would for winning the league, so they can develop their teams and become about the same level. I noticed the same thing would happen in Holland, Portugal and Scandinavia while I was playing my save too. Okay, this third reason is probably going to be a bit more controversial, but I think this league is so much better because it doesn't have some of those nothing clubs like Hoffenheim or Salzburg that are hated, and instead all of the clubs in this league are usually the most supported ones in their country. The big 3 from Portugal are loved by millions, and probably all of them are hated by even more, but the passion and tradition in the picks are just so much more fun. Sure, clubs like Man United and Barcelona have bigger fan bases, but it is fun to use slightly smaller clubs who are still historically relevant in career mode rather than picking huge teams that maybe no one really likes, like RB Leipzig would probably make it into the top 20 best teams on the game. And finally, on the topic of support, if this league actually existed, it would instantly be the most supported league in the world. Even if it was just a 7-team league split with 4 Portuguese teams and 3 from Turkey, it would probably compete with the biggest leagues in the entire game. But throw Belgium, the Netherlands, Czech Republic and Scotland in, and you have a combined population of 130 million, with fans in hundreds of countries worldwide. You might think this doesn't actually impact career mode at all. Well, it does, because these clubs are so supported that EA has actually gone to the effort of adding a bunch of their stadiums in. I think out of the 20 teams that we've listed in the first graphic, which I'll put back on screen right now, at least 10 of these teams actually now have their stadiums inside FIFA career mode. So it's going to be a pretty authentic experience where you're not going to be playing in a ton of generic stadiums like you might be if you go another level down from this. So that's the 4 biggest points that I thought were interesting to mention when I was playing this save. Maybe I've now convinced you to try this Super League, so how do we actually set it up? Well, the first thing we'll need to do is try and find a division that can hold 20 teams. We'll also need to figure out how to move the clubs inside career mode, and we'll have to decide which club to manage. Well, honestly, the first one of those 3 things is something I would already change. It's a lot harder than you'd think to find a suitable league, and Zenit aren't even on the game because of the Russian embargo. If we look at leagues around Europe that we could use, Denmark has 10 clubs, that's not enough. Switzerland has 12, Sweden and Norway have 16, so we're getting closer. The Netherlands has 18, as does Portugal, and finally, Turkey has 19. So, if you want to use all of the teams that we've listed minus Zenit, then Turkey is the league for you to use. Or you could reduce the league down to 16 and put them in Belgium, and honestly, in my opinion, that is the best way to do it. You might wonder why Belgium. Well, of course, it is very central for all of the clubs to play at a similar distance from their home, but more importantly, it has such a cool format inside career mode. When you've played half the season, the league will split into 2 sections. The first section is the Championship group. This is how you qualify for Europe by winning this group or finishing high enough in this group to get a European spot. The other group is the Relegation group, which doesn't matter because Belgium doesn't have a second division inside career mode. So the 6 best clubs will play each other for the last 10 games of the year, so 5 games playing each other twice. The Champions League is the prize for winning that. As you improve the hidden coefficient, you'll get more and more spots for the Champions League, and if you become a top 4 league, the entire group will qualify for Europe, as well as the winner of the relegation group. Okay, so we know we're going to be putting all of the teams into Belgium. How do we actually set this up inside career mode? Well, thankfully, it's actually been so easy to move clubs since about FIFA 12. You just go onto this screen right here, you press triangle or Y when you're picking your club, and you can move them wherever you want. If you want to put Man City in League 2, that's super easy. If you want to put Lincoln City in India, then it's just as easy. There's no restrictions to what you can do. So of course, for this save, all we have to do is find the clubs, move them to the Belgian Pro League, and that's easy. Set up, pick your manager, and you can start. But what manager should you pick? Well, a lot of these clubs are going to be changing situations by joining the Super League. Clubs like Ajax will go from being the dominant force to maybe not even making the championship split. If a club like Rangers makes your Super League, they go from fighting for the title with Celtic to fighting to not finish last in this league. Sporting, Porto and Benfica all go from coasting through most of the season to having to fight for every single point. It is such a cool idea and I loved playing this Super League. You could also alter the ELO rankings a tiny bit to make your save more interesting. If you pick Besiktas, you probably want Fenerbahce and Galatasaray in the league as well, or you'll have none of the famous Turkish rivalries. Personally, I would pick one of the 2 Scottish teams if I was playing the save again, or maybe even throw someone like Hearts into the mix and try and rebuild the national team with a club that somehow scraped into a Super League. But this Super League is just so fun. There's so many possibilities, there's so many cool matchups and combinations, and it still keeps the Champions League and the Europa League fun to play as well. Teams like Braga, Trabzonspor and Heerenveen will become massive, and they'll all grow to replace teams that we've moved into our Super League. It just has every single sign of being a super fun save, despite being a usually overlooked idea. So that's the alternative Super League that I think you need to try based on my experiences where I've actually played this league over the past couple of days. If you've got any ideas for cool saves that you think I need to talk about, then leave them in the comments or message them over on Discord. But thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you soon. Cheers and goodbye.